Okay. Back in April, took a trip to Japan. Uh, Wanted to go my whole life. Spent a lot of time, effort, planning, preparing, making sure that the trip was just right. Went to Japan with wife and kid, and it was awesome. Had an amazing time. And then I wanted to do like a travel vlog series to talk about the trip. Ha! Well, it was like a 2-week trip, and we did a lot of things. This is the seventh or eighth vlog about the trip. And originally, I had kind of wanted to knock them out like 1 week at a time, week after week, on a consistent schedule. But that didn't happen. Anyways, we have made it to Osaka, day 11. And really, I'm going to try in the next hour to just blaze through the rest of the trip. A lot of really cool stuff happened, but at the same time, it wasn't nearly as jam-packed as some of the other days. One, because we were getting a bit tired. And then two, there was just a lot of effort to do the things, you know what I mean? Like going to Universal Studio Japan, going to Disney Sea, that's like an all-day situation, right? So that's your whole day. So, yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. So, we went to Osaka, and I'm gonna be honest. I mentioned this at the end of the last video, but I thought that Osaka was gonna be kind of lame because that's what Reddit made me think. All the research I did was like, yeah, Osaka, it's got Universal Studios. It's cool. And it's like, well, what else does it have? It's like all the things that Tokyo has, but smaller. And it's like, oh, what else does it have? They're like, there's a running man. There's a statue of a guy running. You could look at it. I'm like, okay. So I kind of took it as a personal challenge to like find stuff to do in Osaka, and I actually found way too much to do in Osaka. So much stuff that we ended up canceling some of the stuff because we were gonna do like the ride the boat up and down the river and look at the guy. We didn't end up doing that. We were gonna go to a cat cafe that was all like, it was a cat rescue cafe, but we ended up not doing that. We were gonna climb we were gonna go to the top of the Sky Tower. Ended up not doing that. What else? There was another thing that we were gonna do. Oh, we were gonna go to a fancy spa resort, and get naked, have hot rocks put on us, and eat questionable food and drinks that were super healthy, allegedly. There's a lot of things that I had too much. Like, I was like, oh, don't worry, Osaka. I'm going to prove to everybody that you're okay. You're okay. And I didn't have to work so hard, it turns out, because Osaka is more than okay. Osaka was pretty great. It was like if people actually lived in Tokyo. So it kind of had that vibe, right? Like, the people, they just felt like, I don't know, more real. I don't know how to put it. And then after coming from Kyoto, where everybody was understandably a little like, I'm tired of tourists, please go away. Like, it was this, Osaka was kind of like, wow, you guys came to Osaka? Thank you. It kind of had that vibe of like, we're so happy that people are here, and no one's forgotten about us. So it kind of had that vibe of like a really nice city with a lot of cool things to do, and the people were really nice. So I take back everything I said before the trip, where I was like, I don't know, Osaka. It was awesome. So let's talk about how awesome it was. All right. So the first thing we did is we found our hotel, and this is like, we're actually staying at a real hotel, and it was a nice hotel. It was the nicest hotel of the whole trip. It was very affordable, and it had like some 5-star charm to it. You know what I mean? Like, it was really, really nice. They took all of our bags since we got there before check-in, so we checked our bags with the hotel, and then we in a skyscraper attached to the skyscraper that our hotel was in, there was like four massive buildings just sort of like at an intersection, and like the skyscraper attached via several sky bridges to our hotel it was the Southgate building, and it had it all. It had the department store. It had the Pokemon Center Osaka. It had the Capcom Cafe Osaka. It had Nintendo Osaka. It was pretty fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie to you. We rode that elevator up, and on a single floor, one floor of this skyscraper, they had a Gundam stand-up shop, which you had to have reserve tickets to get into, so I just looked from a distance. It was very cool, though. A Monster Hunter cafe where you could, like, you know, buy Monster Hunter merchandise. The cafe was reservation only. That's okay, because I had reservations for the Monster Hunter restaurant in Tokyo. So, like, I was like a little sad, because I would have loved to have gotten some Monster Hunter cafe for brunch, but that didn't happen. But on the same floor, you could look around, and you could see the Gundam store, the One Piece store, the Pokemon Center, and the Nintendo store on the same floor of the building. It was absolutely insane. It was overstimulating, and very, very cool. We did get a hold of some pretty nice Pokemon exclusives finally from the Pokemon store. You know, like, each of the stores has like its own exclusives that you could pick up each year or whatever, so we did manage to pick up some of those. That was very exciting. And then I did find a plushie of Dry Bones Bowser, but I had already gotten a lot of souvenirs on the trip, and I was like, I still regret it to this day. I put it back on the shelf. But man, it was so cool looking. Anyways, after we finished up, just going nuts over all the cool shit, it was time to check into our hotel. So we went back, we checked into our hotel, and then we got ready to head across the city to the Micro Pig Cafe. At this point, we are heavily addicted to Go Taxi. And so I don't think we ever used a single train or subway or bus when we were in Osaka. It was shameless how many taxis we were using at this point. But like, hashtag not sponsored, Go Taxi is so fucking awesome. Like, I can't tell you how much I really enjoyed it. I also liked every single time a Go Taxi showed up, they were like doing a double take, because they're like, wait a minute, you're not Japanese. How did you get Go Taxi? It made me feel like I was kind of getting away with something, you know what I mean? So, anyways, we rode across town. Osaka drivers, probably the safest taxi drivers so far, which was a nice change of pace. And then we get to the Pig Cafe. Before we had 45 minutes of snuggling with pigs, we had ramen at the ramen shop right next door to the Pig Cafe, and I'm gonna out all of us. We may have had pork ramen right before cuddling with pigs for 45 minutes. So, you know, not like... a little problematic, maybe. But anyways, Micro Pig Cafe was an incredible experience. And it's an experience that I will never forget for the rest of my life. Because I was missing Scribbles and Inky, the pugs. I was missing them so much. And this definitely tided me over. It's definitely tided me over. I didn't know that 45 minutes was going to be such a long time to have pigs on top of me. you can see that the pigs would actually pile themselves up like firewood. They would just lay on top of you, and then they'd lay on top of each other, and they would just stack themselves up, and then they would just like make happy little snorts and grunts until one of them just decided, I'm gonna fucking bite somebody. And then they would start biting each other, and it would turn into like a swarm of biting pigs like on your lap. It was very exciting. My wife almost got bit on the titty by a pig. That would have been a real memory. I also was adopted by the queen of all the pigs. She was 45 pounds, which is, to me, really pushing the limits. Really pushing the limits of what micro means, in my opinion. But hey, I could take it. I could take it. There was another pig who kept stealing my flip-flop, which was adorable. And there was a lot of other families in the pig cafe that were having a really great time. And we actually got to watch a young lady. She and her friend were there. And we got to watch this young lady realize, for the first time in her life, that she's afraid of pigs. And, like, I found it to be a very, I thought it was hilarious. She's like trying her best, and like the pigs are getting on her, and she's getting like more like oh, and then finally she's like, I can't fucking do this. I can't fucking do this. And like they had to leave. They had to leave. And yeah. What a time to discover you're afraid of pigs. Kind of like the people on Monkey Mountain that realized I'm afraid of monkeys. I think that this is part of why you gotta live more, right? You gotta get out there. Well, this is at least a safe place with very lazy pigs to realize that you're afraid of pigs, right? You wouldn't want to have found that out in the wild. Though, I think all of us should be afraid of wild pigs. Anyways, it was a really good time. When we were done with the pigs, we went to the basement of the Pig Cafe building, and we got fluffy pancakes. And I think that might have been the name of the restaurant. I think that may have been the name. It was like fluffy pancakes. But like, it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. I had the tiramisu fluffy pancakes with an actual like double shot of espresso to pour on top of my pancakes. It was so good. I think Basil had like cheesecake pancakes, and then Jen had like fruit and cream pancake. It was so good. Like all the food was really good, but I would say that like fluffy pancakes was definitely near the top, and it was the best dessert I had while I was in Japan. Was the fluffy pancakes. It was so fucking good. Hey, what's up, Dinzard? This is Pig Cafe. It was an experience. It was an experience. So then, after so much traveling, my child was like, this hotel is really nice. And it has, I don't want to say a real bed, that's culturally insensitive. They were like, it has a bed similar to the bed I used back in America. Anyways, they were like, I need to rest. I'm gonna tap out. I'm not going to go to Umeda Sky Tower. Oh right, we did make it to Umeda Sky. We didn't make it to the Sky Tower in Kyoto, but we did make it to this Sky Tower. So what I said at the beginning of the video was not true. We actually went to the Sky Tower here. So we left Basil back at the hotel, and they slept hard in that traditional bed. And while they did, my beautiful wife and I, we went to the Umeda Sky Tower, and it was fucking awesome. The building itself looked like something out of a Pokemon game. Like, this is where you would fight the final boss of Team Rocket on the roof, and then like Rayquaza might show up, and you fight him too. It was awesome. There were like these escalators that were just like hovering hundreds of feet above the ground. There was an underground section of the tower that was done up as like a historical mall. So it was like, this is like World War I, II era, I think it was post World War II era. And they had like all sorts of like vintage stuff down there, and they're showing you like what houses look like and what cars look like. But they had like restaurants mixed in. It was really, really cool. And then at the top of the tower, they had a restaurant, and then we got to sit in the restaurant and have these incredible drinks, and we had some appetizers, and then we went up onto the roof and looked down at the city, and it was like fucking cyberpunk. That's how it felt. It felt like cyberpunk. I was just looking out at this beautiful lit up city, and then like you could see the trains like moving like little snakes made out of light. They're like moving along the tracks and everything. It was just so beautiful. They had like phosphorescent paint up on the roof, so, and like black lights and stuff. It was like really nice, like ambience or whatever, and it was just gorgeous. I think we were up there for like an hour, just looking at stuff, taking pictures, enjoying like the scenery, like the experience. It was really, really nice. Phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. It made me wonder what the Shibuya Sky Tower would have been like if it hadn't been a thunderstorm and we could have gone out on the roof. But like, I don't know. It was breathtaking. I really enjoyed it. So then we went back to the hotel and we picked up the kid, and let's see. Oh wait. We did laundry again. So we had to walk a couple blocks to do our laundry. Then we went back and we got the kid. Yeah, we woke the kid up and we said, "Hey, you gotta eat." So it turned out that, you know how these like skyscrapers are all like together, and there's like 4 skyscrapers, they're all connected or whatever. So like underground is an entire mall, and the mall is full of restaurants. And we had dinner at like 3 different restaurants. We had dinner at a hibachi place that you like, you know, made the meat at your table, which was hard. It was a hard sell after Takayama. I'm gonna be honest, it was a hard sell. Then we went to an Italian place. I ordered something called a pizza, and it was definitely a Dungeons and Dragons cheesy flatbread. It had brie on it, and like, listen, don't knock it till you try it. Brie pizza was pretty fucking good. And then we went and got Korean fusion. Yeah, so we had like 3 different dinners that night. It was really, really good. Maybe we did the Korean the next night, but I could have sworn we ate at like 3 different restaurants that night. So then the next day was Universal Studios Japan, as seen on My Hero Academia. Well, actually, they never go to it, but they reference it, and that's what actually made me look up and be like, oh, there really is a Universal Studios Japan, and it's fucking awesome. So Universal Studios Japan, there were like minion signs guiding us all the way to a dedicated like train station, basically. Just for, I mean, I guess there's other stuff around it, but you got to find the special train that goes to a special train station that's just for Universal Studios, and it was awesome. So we went in, we did Jurassic Park. There was like Flight of the Pterodactyl or something. It was pretty extreme roller coaster in my opinion. I mean, I've been on some more extreme ones. Like I've been on ones that made me black out. But this one made me, you know, I was a little scared for my life. It was like you were just kind of dangling, one of the danglers, and it was like spinning and corkscrews and like loop-de-loops while your legs. And it wasn't just that you were dangling. I want to be clear. It was like when your parent picks you up for like a Superman, you know what I'm saying? So you're like horizontal, and they're like, "You're my Superman," and they're like, you get to pretend to fly or whatever. Imagine a roller coaster did that to you. That's what Flight of the Pterodactyl did, and it was terrifying. It was terrifying. Yeah. Then we got done in Jurassic Park, and we went to Nintendo World. And listen, aesthetically, it was the most gorgeous thing I had ever seen. It looks so good. Like they did such a great job with Nintendo World. It was fantastic. I understand now that at Nintendo World, there was a lot of things I wish I had researched ahead of time that I had no idea about. But basically, Universal Studios Japan is like, we know you're going to come back because you love us. You love it. You love Universal Studios Japan. So they sell these special bracelets that you charge up with points. And you can use the points to access secret rides. Well, one particular secret ride. Once you have enough points. But, like, the bracelets were, like, $35 each or some shit. And, like, the amount of, like, activities that you would have to do to unlock the special, like, prize in a single day would have just been our whole day at Nintendo World. But I did think that was really cool to have, like, this, basically, like, live-action video game, sort of thing in Nintendo World. I thought it was really cool. We only went on one ride at Nintendo World, and I want to point out that Universal Studios Japan was so busy, even on a rainy day. It was so busy. Everything was like, you had to like buy like passes ahead of time, or you were looking at like a 4-hour line for any given ride. It was crazy. The reason we went on the Jurassic Park ride is because the app like was like, hey, there's no line right now, and we were like, oh, okay, we'll try that. But basically everything else like had some pretty crazy lines. But using the app, we were able to figure out like when stuff was busy and when stuff wasn't busy. And I did pay way too much money. Maybe the worst, I don't want to call it the worst, but like maybe the most overpriced part of my Japan trip was Universal Studios Japan. Because I hate waiting in line. Waiting in line, it makes me crazy. So like, I saw that you could buy like scheduled speed passes. This is really neat. Scheduled speed passes. So you can only use them during a certain period of time or whatever. And so we got the scheduled speed passes, but like I waited too long to get them. And so like I had to buy my scheduled speed passes from a Japanese travel agency, pretending to be again using a VPN to pretend to be a Japanese person, because they weren't going to sell them to anybody that wasn't in Japan. So I was like, of course I'm in Japan, obviously. But they were kind of marked up. It was like some Ticketmaster shit, you know what I mean? But at that point, I was like, I'm going to get these fucking tickets. And so like, I might have spent too much on them. That's all I'm saying. That's like probably the worst spending of my trip planning was Universal Studios. And that's because I just waited too long to get those speed passes. Anyway, normally you can get them 30 days in advance of when you want to go. And like, I guess I was like 20 days in advance, and I got screwed. That inspired me to really just, you know, stay on top of everything else. But man, it was rough. So the one ride we did at Nintendo World was Bowser's Castle Mario Kart, and the line, because there was still a line, even though we had a speed pass, the line took about 45 minutes with a speed pass, to give you an idea of how long the line was for this ride. And going through Bowser's Castle, it was like going to Bowser's Castle. Like, it was incredible. Like, the props, it was a ride all by itself, just walking through the line of Bowser's Castle. The actual Mario Kart ride in at the end wasn't as good as just walking through Bowser's Castle, which was kind of crazy. It was a VR, you had a VR headset on, or AR, augmented reality, and you're driving, sort of. It's like a rail shooter. It was a rail shooter. Okay, that's what it was. It was a rail shooter. Sort of like Legend of Salamander from way back at the one Parker went to. Anyways, Then we went to Harry Potter, and we rode something. It wasn't Flight of the Hippogriffs. It was like Hogwarts Experience or some shit. That was actually super fun. I liked how everybody was Japanese. Like, you know, obviously it's Universal Studios Japan. So like, I liked hearing all like the anime voice actor voices for Harry Potter and Dumbledore and Hermione and all that. It was like a moving chair ride. So like you sat down and it like moved around. It was like another, I guess, augmented reality, sort of. You didn't have a headset though. It kind of reminded me of the Spider-Man ride they used to have at Universal Studios in Florida like 20 years ago. I don't know. It was good. It was good. Then we got some Hogwarts food, which was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. And then I got the Minion meat bun, which was on my list of things to get, and it was delicious. And the Minion melon icy to go with it. I got some butter beer at Harry Potter World. I went on the Despicable Me ride, and I got to be shouted at by Japanese Gru and his Japanese daughters. It was very fun. Whew. Anyways, also while we're in Osaka, I did pick up a replacement suitcase. I got this limited edition hard shell Pikachu yellow Pokemon Center adjacent exclusive suitcase. I got it from a Doki Doki Don Quixote, and it was a very reasonable price, and I got this cool luggage strap for it. Anyways, my suitcase had one bad wheel, and it only had two wheels to start with, and it was starting to become a liability. So we swapped out for a new suitcase, and then we rode the bullet train, the Shinkansen, back from Osaka to Tokyo to kind of finish the loop and like finish up our trip. So the last 2 days of the trip, we're going to be in Tokyo. I did a great job, and I got us seats on the train that were on the side of the train where you can see Mount Fuji, so I guess the left side of the train. And that is, even though it was a little bit of a cloudy day, that is my photograph of Mount Fuji from the train. Not going to Mount Fuji, definitely a regret for me, because I like climbing mountains. But you know, I'll go next time. I'll go next time. I had heard that like they really didn't want people climbing Mount Fuji right now because there was like too many tourists climbing Mount Fuji. So like I tried to like be a bit respectful and be like, okay, there's other stuff to do. I'll leave Mount Fuji alone. When we got back to Tokyo, we found our hotel. This hotel was not as fancy as the one in Osaka, but it was still a pretty nice hotel. It was a pretty nice hotel. However, the hotel room was maybe 8 feet by 10 feet big, and it had a bunk bed in it. So like, it was not nearly as nice as the Osaka one. Again, the Osaka one was like a 5-star hotel. It was really, really nice. This was like a nice hotel for a reasonable price in Tokyo near the train station. So like, you know, it was pretty small. It was a pretty small room, but we were only using it as a base of operations, we thought. So it wasn't too bad. We found a Godzilla stand-up store. We found some more action figure stand-up stores. But then the goal of this day in Tokyo was shopping. So we just wanted to do lots and lots of shopping. So we went to Akihabara, which is like the nerd district. And we did all the nerd shit. We went to Radio Kenshin. We went to... Super Potato. We did all that shit. And I bought some figures from like the used anime figure store. I found my Sword World books, the TTRPG, the Japanese Dungeons and Dragons. I've been looking for the entire trip. They were unbelievably reasonably priced. Like I was expecting them to be so expensive, like Dungeons and Dragons books in America. That was not the case at all. Overall, Akihabara was more than I anticipated. Super Potato was less than I anticipated, and I had a really, really good time. When that was over, we headed to the Pokemon Center Tokyo DX, and this was the last Pokemon Center of our Pokemon Center tour, and it was very nice. I don't know if it was the nicest Pokemon Center that we went to. It was definitely the most, like, futuristic, like, look at how fucking cool this place. It was, like, the coolest, but maybe not the best, in my opinion. We'd also been to a lot of Pokemon Centers by then, so, like, the first Pokemon Center was very small, the one in Kanazawa. And it you know, we were like ramped up our expectations from there. The Kyoto one was probably no, I think I like the Osaka one the best. I think the Osaka one was the best. But I want to say we went to 4 or 5 Pokemon Centers. I can't remember. It was at least 4 Pokemon Centers. But anyways, that one was a lot of fun. Then I realized that, you know, I had told my kid, yeah, we're gonna go to we're gonna go to Harajuku for alt rock, punk rock shopping, fashion. Of course, I'm the best. Of course, we're gonna do that. And I didn't realize that it was like on the other side of Tokyo. Like it was another district. Like in a video game, you would have had to have done a certain number of quests to unlock that part of the city. And still addicted to Go Taxi, I purchased one of the most expensive taxi rides of the trip just to get us to Harajuku in a decent amount of time, because we could have taken the subway, but like it was a lot of connecting stops and it was like rush hour for trains at that point. So anyways, we get to Harajuku. Wife and kid do a lot of thrift store shopping. We found like a really cool literally underground clothing boutique. Spent a decent amount of money buying some fancy fucking clothes. And then even like the thrift store, I guess because it's in the fashion district, was a little price. There was a lot of things that if you are a lady or into, you know, feminine aesthetics, like Harajuku was delivering. There was like cute animal cafes, crepe restaurants, crepe stands, sweet crepes, savory crepes, pastry shops everywhere, candy shops everywhere. A lot of sweet, a lot of cute. It was cool. It was really cool. Then then we went to the Monster Hunter Cafe for dinner, and let me tell you, I set 8 alarms and calendar reminders to make sure that I got my reservation for the Monster Hunter Cafe, and I managed to do it, and I was looking forward to it for 30, no, longer than that. From when I decided that I was going to go to Japan, I immediately became excited about going to the Monster Hunter Cafe. Because I've been playing Monster Hunter since the first Monster Hunter, and I have always wanted to eat the food from Monster Hunter, and I was like, I'm going to this Monster Hunter Cafe. I don't care how much money it costs. I don't care what I got to do. I'm going to this Monster Hunter Cafe. And I was so excited about it. I was so hyped for it. I was so proud of myself when I got the reservation, because I couldn't get the reservation for the Pokemon Cafe, and I didn't want the reservation for the Final Fantasy Cafe. Sorry, Final Fantasy kids. But like, I really, really was excited about the Monster Hunter Cafe. And then, when we finally got there, it was fucking awesome. It was like, it felt so good to be so excited for something for so long, and then you finally get it, and it's better than you imagined. Like, it was so goddamn cool. Like, it was great. It was great. All the food was like good. Some of the food was spectacular. Like this like meat dish right here. This was supposedly like Rathalos wing meat or whatever. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if they got Rathalos meat or if it was just emu or steak or something. But the food was so good. You can't see because I'm in the way. Hold on, I'm gonna vanish real quick. Let's see. There. Boop. All right. So you see the bottom left corner? They brought out straight up cutting boards, just full size wooden cutting boards, loaded down with like meat, vegetables, onion rings, skewers of meat and potatoes, and more vegetables and more meat dipped in sauce. It was amazing. It was amazing. We got these like palico cakes for dessert, but like how it worked is there was an app that you downloaded at your table, I guess, and then you used it to like keep ordering food, and you could just keep ordering as much as you wanted from this app, and then people would bring it out, and they were like, you know, kind of in cosplay a little bit. And so like all the drinks were like themed to Monster Hunter. There was one called like potion rack, and you would like mix like the mixers in yourself, like you were doing potions, and we had a potion bottle. And then like there was like all these desserts, and like I got this thing. It was called like the Kirin Sundae, and like the Kirin Sundae was like featuring corn, and I was like, I don't know why. I don't think I would put corn in an ice cream, but I mean the picture looks good. It was just a typo for cone, for like an ice cream cone, because the cone was like the horn of the cone. Anyways, it was amazing. It was amazing. They had a lot of like armor and weapon replicas all over the place. They had a place where you could like post up your hunter ID and leave like a message for other Monster Hunter players. There was a place where you could play PlayStation 5 Monster Hunter, and then there were TVs everywhere that were just showing people playing Monster Hunter and Monster Hunter trailers and Monster Hunter cutscenes. And then if you spent a lot of money, which I did, you got to go to the prize counter and you got to get prizes because you unlocked like prizes by drinking too much. Anyways, it was amazing. It was amazing. So then afterwards, we went to Akihabara, because this cafe was in Akihabara. So this is our second time in Akihabara on the same day. So then we went and looked around Akihabara at night, which was beautiful and cool and exciting because like all the neon lights were out and everything. Very, 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 very cool. And then we headed back to the hotel. We got some sleep, but I think we started the very difficult task of getting packed up. We realized that we were going to have to pack all of our shit in a hotel room that was 8 feet by 10 feet and had a bunk bed in it. So that was a little stressful, but we didn't want to be too tired for Disney. So like we started the process and we're like, this will be waiting for us after an entire day at Disney. Can't wait for that. So we got to Disney. The line for Disney was insane. We woke up at like 6 in the morning, and the train to Disney was super packed, Disney Sea. And then we got there on the train, and then we got on a monorail train, and then we went to the park entrance, and it was already like, I don't know, 1,000 people ahead of us in line for the park to get into the park. So here's where things almost went bad. So, as has been established, I have an Android phone, and in Japan, you need to have an iPhone. You need to have an iPhone in Japan. So, like, I had been fighting the good fight, but we got to, like, Tokyo, Disney Sea, and they're like, okay, you got to get the app. And I'm like, okay, I want the app. And they're like, sorry, you can't like get the app until you're at the park. And I'm like, wait, what? I want to get the app before I get to the park. They're like, nah, you can only get the app at the park. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. I have the app on my phone. They're like, yeah, but you got to update the app at the park. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you can get the app, but you got to update the app at the park. Okay, that should be fine because we have a mobile hotspot, right? Nah, So Tokyo Sea is like outside of Tokyo on like a little peninsula, like kind of thing, away from everything. I didn't have any signal. And then the park didn't have any Wi-Fi. There was no Wi-Fi at the park, and then I had no signal. So then I was like, okay, well, I'll just buy a 24-hour cell phone pass or whatever for my phone. And then it's like, okay, yeah, sure, you could do that. And then I go to like hop on and get the app, and they're like, ooh, is this an Android phone? I don't know about that. Like, I could not get the app to upload, and then the upload broke, and then the app was broken. And I was like, okay, this is pretty bad. Good thing I'm fucking smart. I printed out the tickets. So then we go to get the tickets out, and they're like, nah, we want to scan. We only scan phones. We only scan phones. Do you have the passes on your phone? And we're like, are you fucking serious? So then we had to just listen to this. We took photos of the printouts so they could scan the photos of the printouts on our phones to get into the park. This is how fucking iPhone locked Disney Sea was, okay? Yes. So then we get in, and I'm like, whew, at least that's over with. Now we can enjoy the day. Nope. You can't. Get ready for it. You can't get any food without your phone. You can't get any food. You can't reserve any rides. You can't reserve any events. You can't do shit if you don't have a phone. If you don't have a phone, you're screwed. Like, you're just fucking screwed. And so, like, I was like trying my best. I'm like, hey, it's been a good trip. You know, this is the last day. You know, something was bound to go wrong. I'm pretty upset about it, but you know, like, I'd like to be able to eat food at the park. I'd like to be able to do shit. So my kid has an iPhone, and their iPhone is on T-Mobile. Mine is on Xfinity, aka Comcast, and I just don't have any signal. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the country, like I'm screwed. So like, I did the research ahead of time. I'm like, hey, I'm going to Japan, Xfinity. Like, what are my options? And they're like, well, it's pretty expensive. It's like $25 a day for roaming in Japan with us. And I'm like, wow, I'll just use a mobile hotspot from Ninja Wi-Fi. # not sponsored. And then I called about T-Mobile, and I was like, T-Mobile, what's the situation? They're like, oh, well, we're partnered with Japan. Like, Japan Mobile. Like, all mobile in Japan is our friends. So, like, you don't even have to pay for roaming. Like, you're on T-Mobile? T-Mobile iPhone? Yeah, it's like you live in Japan. You don't have to do anything. You automatically have incredible signal, and everything's great. And I was like, damn, okay, maybe that will come in handy. So I turned to my kid, and I'm like, I need you to save the day right now. I need you to become the hero of Disney Sea. I need you to use your T-Mobile iPhone to become our salvation. And they did. It took about 45 minutes, maybe an hour and 45 minutes for their phone to download this massive, poorly built application. and get it upstate installed or whatever. And not because the signal was bad, but because there were so many people with iPhones trying to use cell phone signal, right? So they managed to get the app set up, and immediately we were able to like enjoy the rest of the day. We like reserved like seating on all the rides we wanted to go to. We like ordered the food so that we could fucking eat. And like once we had it, it was incredible. It was incredible. We went to like the Tower of Terror, which was laughably spooky. It was by no means scary, but it was laughably spooky. We did this really cool boat ride, like around the whole park. We did like an Aladdin magic carpet ride. We did Sinbad's Incredible Journeys, which is like, imagine if It's a Small World After All was somehow more racially insensitive and about Sinbad from, you know, the Arabian Nights tales or whatever. It was extremely creepy. I enjoyed it very much. But like all the movies you've seen where Pinocchio was scary looking, you know, all the bad Pinocchio like depictions where it's like, ooh, that's scary. All of the little people in the Sinbad ride look like that. So your mileage may vary. And it was a long ride. It was like 15 minutes of like riding around on a boat, watching little robot Pinocchio Sinbad like fight other little Pinocchio bad guys and monsters. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It was very cool. Let's see. The park was absolutely phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was the most beautiful theme park I've ever been to. It was clean. It was beautiful. It was well designed. They had Little Mermaid area. They had a Rapunzel area. They had a Frozen area. They had a Captain... No, it's Peter Pan, right? Peter Pan and Captain Hook area. They had an area that just had nothing to do with anything. It was just Mediterranean Sea. And having grown up in the Mediterranean Sea, I could tell you, it looked exactly like the Mediterranean Sea. I felt like I was transported back to my childhood. There was an area called Fantasy Springs, and it's like their super ultra mega resort. And Fantasy Springs had all of these like insane fountains that were all like you know, Disney characters and depictions of scenes and stuff, and it was absolutely gorgeous. You could see it during the day, and then we stayed all day so we could see it at night. It was just so fucking good. And then let's see. Hold on. There's us posing by a camera, or no, a camel. Yeah, there's us posing by a camel. And then let's see. The Snuggly Duckling from like Rapunzel. It was awesome. It was just like the thing. They were having some kind of food festival, so there was like a lot of incredible food like everywhere. And then I guess this park is famous for its like fancy popcorn. And all day we resisted popcorn. It was pretty easy to resist the popcorn because the lines for the popcorn were like longer than the lines for the rides. It was like a 2-hour wait to get popcorn, to get roast beef popcorn. There were some weird flavors of popcorn. And we resisted all day. We didn't get any popcorn. But then at the very end of the day, leaving the park, there wasn't a line for the cracked pepper popcorn. And I'm going to tell you, it was the best popcorn I ever had in my entire life. Because of course it was. Of course it was, right? Like could Japan do anything related to food badly if they tried? I guess only chicken beaks on a stick. That's the only thing that comes to mind. It was incredible. We rode the Rapunzel ride because I really like Rapunzel. I really like Tangled, the movie, and I really like robots. And this was an animatronics ride themed to Rapunzel. And it was so beautiful that it made me cry. And none of us took any photos because we were so enthralled by the visuals that no one for a single second was like, I better bust out my phone and take a picture. Like, we were just like absolutely mesmerized by how incredible the ride was. It was beautiful. Then, when all that was said and done, I was like, AI assisted, it's almost time for the fireworks. Where should we go to see the fireworks? And she told us about a secret location in the park on top of a castle. So we went to the top of this castle and we watched the fireworks over the Mediterranean Sea. And it was like pretty fucking magical. It was pretty fucking magical. It's just an absolutely incredible day, and it just a perfect end to like a perfect trip. Honestly, like it was just so fucking good. The trip was so good. Every time something started to go wrong, we just like kept our cool and like tried to stay positive, and then it turned out all right. Feel free to unmod me for this, but Canadian sushi is better than Japanese sushi. They are purist, no avocado, no cream cheese, etc. Our sushi has all the extras that make it top notch. All right, listen. I realized in Japan, because I didn't have like $1,000 sushi. You know what I mean? Like I didn't eat at a place. There were some places that you could have gone that were like $300 a person, $500 a person for sushi. But I did go to some sushi places that were like highly recommended, right? Like the freshest sushi. Like I had pufferfish sushi like right out of the fucking ocean. You know what I mean? Like I had really good sushi over there. I still feel that the sushi place by my house makes their sushi is just as good. And maybe I'm just insulting all of Japan. Maybe I just didn't go to like fancy enough. I went to some pretty fancy fucking restaurants. I ate sushi at some pretty fancy fucking restaurants. And yes, I also like gimmick sushi. You know what I mean? I want it to have cream cheese, avocado. I want it to be in a weird roll. I want it to be like a spectacle. You know what I'm saying? But I do appreciate some just very high quality sashimi, some very high quality sushi on rice, like a nigiri, like that. That's fine. So like, I think that your stance about Canadian sushi is it's fine. It's fine. And yeah. So perfect end to a perfect trip. That night was a hard night. It was a very hard night because we were very stressed about traveling. We had to take some precautions for traveling based on things that were happening at the time. So that was a pain in the ass to sort of make adjustments to our mobile devices, you might say. And our paperwork, get all our paperwork in order, make sure everything's in its right place. There's also like, you know, who wants to ride? First of all, who wants to leave Japan? Nobody. Who wants to ride 19 hours in 2 airplanes? You know, like that's not exciting. And then the customs getting back to America, and then we had to get everything to fit. Now, here's some pro tips. If you go to Japan and you buy a shitload of souvenirs, there are companies that will just ship everything back to you. We did not take that route because I don't know. I don't know why. So we made it all fit in our suitcases. We picked up some extra duffel bags to put the clothes in, and then we used all the hard shell suitcases and we put all the souvenirs in there. And we also just went, it was hard. It was hard. In an 8-foot by 10-foot hotel room, there was not like any common area in this hotel either. Like the Osaka hotel was so fancy that we could have probably been like, hey, do you have like a conference room we could use? Or can we hang out in a corner of this 10,000 square foot lobby? Or, you know, the room itself had plenty of room that we could have packed. But this was like packing in a coffin. It was horrible. And the kid was like just worn out. They were asleep. So we're packing around the unconscious kid. We're just we're stuffing socks into shoes. We're stuffing souvenirs into the socks, into the shoes. The shoes, like, strategically creating, like, padding and bracing for, like, the breakables. And it was crazy. We're, like, breaking down packaging on stuff that doesn't need the packaging anymore. And we're just like, it was like, we were up so late after a 16-hour day at Disney. Like, it was so stupid. Yeah, so we're like, we finally got everything packed. And then I realized, like, there's no way I'm taking all this on the train. Because there's just too much luggage to take on the train first thing in the morning. Like, we're not doing that. And I was like, there's too much luggage to take a normal taxi. And my AI assistant was like, oh, tell the front desk you want a big taxi. And I was like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. And I went down and I was like, can I have a big taxi? And they're like, that's the dumbest shit we've ever heard of. There's no such thing as a big taxi. So then I was like, okay, there's no such thing as a big taxi. What's our next move? And they're like, Uber? So, like, I open up Uber on my phone, and I'm like, hey, I need the biggest fucking Uber you got in Japan so I could get 3 people and 9 luggage to the airport. And they were like, yeah, no problem, bro. But there was a problem. There was a big problem. We could not find the Uber guy, and the Uber guy could not find us. And then we almost got in the wrong Uber because, like, this Uber, like, saw us with all our stuff, and he rolls up and he's like, hey, I'm Uber. And I'm like, cool. We're going to the airport. He's like, fantastic. And he starts loading our stuff up, and I'm like, are you, like, Shinji? And he's like, no. And I was like, I need my suitcase back. Like, what the fuck, bro? So, like, we almost went with the wrong guy. Eventually, very nice old man shows up, the huge SUV, like limousine quality, leather seats, the whole deal. Very bougie. Load everything up, go to the airport. At the airport, one last meal, katsu pork for the road. Another one of the best meals of the entire trip. And then we got on the airplane, and I'm going to tell you, the flight back, not bad. Played Fire Emblem Engage. Took a nap. Good times. We got to Atlanta and immediately knew we were back in America. As soon as we got back into America, it was horrible. It was not great. Got off the plane, had to take a piss, went into the bathroom. Oh yeah, also, the whole flight back, it was just like being on a plague ship. People were just coughing, hacking, wheezing, spitting phlegm out. Like, it was disgusting. Like, we were masked up the whole flight, and, like, I didn't even want to take my mask off to eat. I was, like, trying to stuff food up into the mask. Like, it was real bad. Like, the people were just dying on the plane. Like, it was horrible. We get back to America. I gotta take a piss. I go to use the bathroom at the Atlanta airport, and it's like a lake of urine. I'm just sloshing through like a lake of urine. Like, and I'm like, America. And then we ended up having to wait in the Atlanta airport for like 6 hours? I don't remember how long we were stuck. It was a long time. Wait. It wasn't a long time. It wasn't a long time because something happened. Wait. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was like they lost. Oh yeah. Our flight got deleted. That's right. So leaving Japan. I think it was leaving Japan. Our flight. Yeah. It was supposed to be a 6-hour layover, but our flight got delayed leaving Japan 2 hours because our flight got deleted and they didn't know how to undelete it. Like, I guess someone, oopsie, like fat-fingered accidentally deleted our entire flight and everyone on it. So they had to find the guy who made the program, who wasn't at work, and get him to come into work and fix. This is like what we're dealing with Delta Airline, everybody. To fix the flight so that we would be able to land the plane and not crash into other airplanes in the air and shit, because our flight just got completely deleted from reality. Yeah. And then after we knew things were bad, because about an hour into just sitting on the plane and not going anywhere, they gave us each a box of Pocky for free. And like Delta Airline giving out a box of Pocky for free to each person, you knew shit was getting real bad. So yeah, we got trapped in the plane for 2 hours. Then we finally flew all the way back to America. Then we got to Atlanta and then walked through a lake of piss. And then we also had to do like customs and stuff in America, which we were very stressed about because we had heard some nightmare stories about coming into America. Even if you're an American from abroad, especially at that particular time, which was April 2025. But it was fine. We got back in. We knew we were in America because everyone that worked at the airport was a total asshole, and all of the children at the airport were ungovernable and insane. 2 weeks in Japan, I never heard a child make a noise. I was at fucking Universal Studios Japan, and there were children everywhere. I never heard any of the children. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were quietly excited. There were some rowdy teenagers in line, and anytime they got a little too rowdy, they looked around like, oh shit, I think we got too rowdy, boys. And then they would kind of calm down a little bit, but then the excitement would build up again. They get a little rowdy, and they go, oh no, too rowdy. We got to America, just children were just screaming. Just like little velociraptors. They were just screaming, just opening their mouths, and horrors were coming out of their mouths. And I sat there with my piss-stained shoes, like, listening to these children, like, unparented, just running around the fucking airport screaming, while the airport personnel treated me like I was a fucking, inconvenience to their existence. And it was pretty bad. And so we finally make it to our gate, and we befriend Dance Mom. Dance Mom, her daughter is a dancer, been a dancer her whole life. She's the manager of her daughter, and she flies all the time, and she is trying to fly home for her daughter because her daughter was going to be on the Super Bowl or something. I don't remember. It was some very big important thing that her daughter was going to do. It's like a big deal. I think the Super Bowl was already over. I don't remember what huge thing it was, but like, Dance Mom was very proud of her daughter, and we had a nice conversation about being a dance mom. And it was like watching one of those TLC shows where they're like, like Dance Mom, the crazy world of child dancing. Anyways, at that point, people were hungry, and I wanted to remind everybody that we were back in America. So Basil and I went and got everybody, including Dance Mom, McDonald's. Oh, yeah. This wasn't Japanese McDonald's. This was American McDonald's. And the whole experience was exactly how I remembered it. No one was helpful. Everyone was pushing in line and cutting. The drink station was absolutely disgusting. The food was terrible. And, it was, it was great. It's fucking great. So happy to be back. It was just, wow. Anyways, we finally make it. We got shocked back into America. They're like, we want you to know right away, you're not in Japan anymore, okay? Like, no one here gives a shit about anything, especially not you, all right? Like, go fuck yourself, America. We make it all the way back to Baltimore. My dad picks us all up in the middle of the night. Just a real bro move. He picks us up in the middle of the fucking night, like 1 o'clock in the morning. This dude is picking us up at the airport. I was gonna have us just hang out at the Baltimore airport until like 7 in the morning when he came to get us. Nope. He picked us up in the middle of the night. He took us home. We woke up our friend Stone. You might know Stone from some of the games we play on the channel. Stone was actually watching the house and the doggos and the cat for us while we were in Japan. We woke his ass up at 3:30 in the morning. It was cool. It was cool. We had a lot of presents for him, so I don't think he minded being woken up at 3:30 in the morning. The animals, like, they couldn't believe it. Like, I'm pretty sure they accepted that Stone had killed us and had taken over the house. Like, that's pretty much what the reaction from the pets when we got home was like, oh, you look like my owners that Stone murdered. Wait, you are my owners that Stone murdered. And then they were like, oh my God. And they started to lose their minds. But like, there was this initial, like, I'm afraid to believe that you might still be alive. I've given up hope. It's been too long. But yeah, they were very happy to see us back. We were very happy to see them and to see Stone and to see our house. But I don't think we've ever stopped. I don't think we've ever stopped being sad about leaving Japan. I know that at first, like, my wife Jen was like, well, it was nice, but I wouldn't want to stay there forever. And then I think now if you ask Jen, like, hey, would you want to just be in Japan? They'd probably be like, yes. Like, yeah, I think so. Like, the longer we're back, like, the harder and harder it is. And I don't want to end on, like, a negative note. I don't want to end on a negative note because it was an incredible trip. And, you know, we had this, like, lovely house, friends, family, pets, you know, a life. We have a life here. Got a community. But man, it was really great. And a lot of people say, like, oh, well, it's easy to romanticize it and see it through rose-tinted glasses because, you know, when you're on vacation, you're spending a lot of money and you're seeing things you're seeing the best part of everything. You're not seeing, like, the everyday life, you know? But the thing is, like, we didn't, like, go, like, super bougie, like, all the time, you know what I mean? Like, we stayed at, like, very small, simple houses and apartments at certain times. We didn't stay at we only stayed at one nice hotel, like, the whole time we were there. Everything else was just, like, a bed and breakfast or, like, their version of, like, an Airbnb or something. Like, it was very much like we went to the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Like, we shopped for groceries. We did our laundry. You know what I mean? Like, we did a lot of, like, normal everyday things. The real appeal for me wasn't like, oh, well, I'd eat like that every day and this and the other thing. It's not that, okay? It's not that. It's that as a culture, it just feels like they care about things, you know? Like they care about doing a good job. They care about their children's, like, nutrition. They care about the quality of their food. They care about the environment. They're thoughtful and purposeful in their design of, like, social systems and civic systems, and, like, there's, like, pride in what you're doing. Like, every employee that I met, no matter if they were sweeping up barf at the theme park, if they were working the register at, like, 1 a.m. at 7-Eleven, they had an attitude about them that was like, what's the point of being miserable and shitty? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point? Like, might as well do a good job, right? Might as well do my job, do a good job. And, like, were there grumpy people? Were there rude people? Absolutely. Are there, like, all sorts of social issues affecting the people of Japan? Yes. Are they struggling with, like, governmental issues? Absolutely. Like, I'm not saying it's a utopia. I'm just saying that for me, culturally, there's a lot going on in Japan that I appreciated more than I realized, more than I could possibly understand until I had it and it was gone. It really did feel like I had found a missing piece of myself. I got to put it in for a little while, and then I had to hand it back. You know what I'm saying? It was just a very incredible experience, just a really great trip, and it was worth every penny. It was worth the hundreds of hours of like research and prep and work that I put into planning the trip. And yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. And at the end of the day, you know, looking back on it, it was just like so many incredible memories, so much like fun stuff. It was this amazing feeling as a family because it felt like the three of us were just the only people in the whole world sometimes. And I know that sounds kind of weird because obviously we're surrounded by other tourists, we're surrounded by the people in Japan and stuff. But with the language barrier, and you know, the cultural differences and things like that, and being so far removed from everything that was familiar, the only familiar things we had were each other, you know? And we're already pretty close, the three of us. And I think that it really, I don't know, like, there was no point where we had any sort of like drama. We didn't like yell at each other. We didn't have any fights or arguments. Like, we just like went with the flow, you know? Like, we had a really good itinerary. We had things really planned out. When things didn't go right, it wasn't like, there wasn't a lot of, you know, there wasn't any blame games of like, oh, why didn't you do this? And don't you know what you're doing? And it was just like healthy, you know? It was just a really wholesome and healthy and enjoyable experience. Like, I just felt like the only memories that we managed to build on that trip were good memories. And like, to me, that's just an absolute win, you know? Like, that's an absolute fucking win. And so to sum it up, me and Basil, we liked Takayama as the best place that we went. Jen liked Hitachi Seaside Park as the number one place. We went to Tokyo, Ginza, and Shibuya. We went to Ibaraki, Hitachi Naka. We went to Kanazawa, Mikawa. We went to Shiragawa-go, Takayama, Kyoto, Osaka. And then we went back to Tokyo and hit up Akihabara in Shinjuku. And yeah, it was really cool. And Harajuku. It was like really fucking good. So next time, I definitely want to climb Mount Fuji. And then I kind of want to stay out of the cities next time. I want to hit up like more of like the rural areas. I want to hit up like the coastline. I want to hit up some beaches, you know what I'm saying? I want to go in the fall too. I want to go in the fall where it's still like you could kind of go to the beach, but like the leaves are starting to change. So not like getting the intensity of summer. So yeah. Hey, Brewdog. Yeah. This is actually like the last video in the series talking about the Japan trip, but we went for like 2 weeks. It was incredible. It was incredible. So yeah. And that is that. I mean, that's that. So this will put an end to this series. All of it will be up on YouTube on a playlist, including like the pre-gaming for the trip, I guess, the prepping for the trip, and then the summary of the trip. We should definitely go back to Hitachi Park in the fall. That's for sure. Since it's blue in the spring and it's red in the fall, it'd be cool to see everything again. But yeah, wow, man, it's bittersweet. I felt every day like it was the most fulfilling and interesting and just like best day for 14 days straight. It was so cool. And I look forward to doing it again. So for everybody that has watched this vlog series, now you know what the trip was like for me. I've got to hear from people in the comments that, you know, and the chats and just messages on Discord about their trips to Japan. I'd love recommendations for like what to do next time, things that you guys thought were really cool, that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know. It was great, and I will say that the most expensive part of this trip was the airfare. So like, if you can get cheap airfare, the rest of the trip can be very, very manageable. So like, don't think that this is going to be like a impossibility to do. It is in my opinion a trip that could happen. But again, the hardest and most expensive part, I think, is going to be getting affordable airfare. Outside of that, the food was affordable, the lodging was affordable, transportation was affordable. You don't have to get addicted to Go Taxi. The public transit with the buses, the trains is super affordable and efficient. So like, to me, this does feel like something that, you know, that you could do. You know, like, you might have to save, you might have to, like, you know, get a little personal loan if you wanted to, you know, save later, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's certainly manageable. Anyways, I had an amazing time, and thank you guys for listening, and guess I'll see you next time.